Before I begin this video, I would like to apologize to potential Camiguin Island tourists who might be discouraged to travel on the island after watching this video. Please don't be. Our trip was just miserable because we got to the port at 9 a.m. and it was Lenten season. Yes, we shouldn't have done that, and yes, we should have had some thought with the possible repercussions going to the island on Monday, Thursday. Our experience might not be the same as yours, so do check out the island for yourself. With that in mind, let's begin. Hello everybody and welcome back to a video where the entire experience that I've had was 4 days of deception, unexpected problems, negotiations with the Philippine Coast Guard, and suffering a sunburn for more than a day straight. Why? Because I have a lot of things to say because the entire trip was a total nightmare. And trust me when I say this, this trip might be the worst Holy Week I have ever experienced in my entire life. But first, let's begin on Wednesday, April 13, 2022. We first had to prepare for the trip. We got our clean Camiguin QR codes, made a paper and electronic copy of the QR codes, and get dressed, wait for the driver, aka my father, to finish his work, pack a lot of things, and then go on a road trip. We first went to SM CDO Downtown Premier, where Kian deceived my grandmother in buying a pair of thick black shoes for 899 pesos and a basketball for 690 pesos. Nice. Then Kent wanted to buy a small rideable Jeep car. Guess how much it costs? 15,000 pesos. So she didn't buy the car, and then I wanted her to buy a Monopoly board game, but my father said no because Kian already got the shoes and the basketball. What a missed opportunity. We stayed for the night at FB Dormitel Suites on Nazareth, Cagayan de Oro City, and of course I filmed myself going up and down the elevator. At first I was asked to buy water near the hotel, and the weirdest part about that was the vendor slightly raised her eyebrow and head after she said the English translation for male. I do not know why she did that, and I do not want to. After we bought the water, Mariel Barnaiha, one of our former maids as of Tuesday, April 19, 2022, somehow had the thought of going up our floor by taking the stairs. Sure, but what she didn't know was that we stayed on the 5th floor. Because of that, we got to the floor exhausted before getting told to buy flavored beer with Donli Desierto, and we ended up buying the flavored beer that my mom asked for. But first, we had to find a convenience store to buy the beer since 7-Eleven was closed for some reason. Then we had to take a stop for a bit by drinking butong, a street drink where you drink sweet cold coconut water. And you know what? It tasted incredible. So after the stop, we bought the beers and then went back to the hotel. Now this next part is insanely crazy because this is where it gets from amazing to frustrating to time-consuming to extremely sleep-deprivating. This is what happened on Monday, Thursday. We woke up insanely early, but the wake-up time is going to be more and more insane as this video continues. I woke up at 5 a.m. and what I had to do was brush my teeth, get dressed, and pack the same lots of things, and then went off. And if you think something was off about that morning routine, you're absolutely correct. I did not eat breakfast until 9 a.m. where we were very far away from the place that we stayed in. In the breakfast eating stop, we got to meet the Baldovino Acosta family, the English-speaking family, the Bohol people, the outliers, you know, them. What we ate was rice, obviously with pork. There were lots of foods there, but you know me. If eating pork's an option, you gotta go with that action. Then after that, we got to Balingwan, and once we got there, we ran into a highly unexpected problem. A problem so problematic that no one had even thought about it for a single second. The line of cars was insanely long. So what did we do to pass the time? Lots of things. Karaoke, where I, of course, rickrolled 41 people in a town where the internet speed averages 0.6 megabits per second download and 1.49 megabits per second upload. But before that, I was just there listening to some good music that I like. And in this short but weird conversation that I had with Rochelle B. Acosta, she asked me what college course would I choose, and I responded with journalism or filmmaking. And then she asked me what I was writing, and then I internally panicked. And I also somewhat misunderstood her. And I said, "Oh, it's on YouTube." And she was confused and said, "YouTube?" And then I responded with, "Oh, it's because filmmaking is my number one option." And then she left. And then I continued listening to my good music. We then ate lunch, and then sang more, and ate more, and then went to a beach where we saw the island itself at a distance. Then waited some more, and then went to the port itself. We walked, where we saw many cars not moving a bit, and then we ate fruit salad. We got our tickets verified, waited in line for so long that I had to sit on the ground because my legs were starting to hurt. Then there were sudden plans of just not going to Camiguin and just go to Claveria, where these oldest sisters complained about because the shirts that they brought were all not for harshly cold weather conditions. And then after 10 excruciatingly long hours, we were on the barge, finally. But don't celebrate just yet, because we had to wait on the barge for another hour and a half. Then there was a speaker basically saying the passport for Lumbo Francis Stefan is here. Please take it here on the entrance. We thought that we were moving, but then it was actually the barge beside us that were moving, and all of us got mad because the barge that we were in was filled first. But don't worry, because eventually we got moving. Then we arrived on the port of Benoni at around 11 p.m. So if you combine the line wait time, the barge wait time, and then actually stepping foot on Camiguin Island, it took us around 14 hours to get to Camiguin. How exhausting. Alright, woke up after sleeping for 6 hours. This is what happened on Good Friday. Now, the very first thing that happened was actually good, because I actually received this laptop and it was actually quite functional. By the way, I'm going to use this laptop to edit this video. How? I'm going to use Adobe Premiere Pro 2022. Read more about how you can edit using a paid app and many more paid apps of your choice for free on the Learn More section in this video's description. We first went to Santo Niño Cold Spring, where the price for tourists is a bit more expensive than the price for Camiguin Island residents. I then recorded this short clip of the place using this DSLR. Where is it? This DSLR. The spring was cold, don't get me wrong, but there was a place where it was a lot colder than Santo Niño Cold Spring. Then we took a photo and it got political quickly. In this photograph, there were people that made the L gesture symbolizing Lenny Robredo, the two joints symbolizing Isko Moreno Domagoso, and then there's this one gesture symbolizing Manny Pacquiao. Probably. This next one is absolutely hilarious, and this is the context of what makes it hilarious. So someone wanted to borrow a water gun that Isabella Therese was holding, which, to be absolutely clear, is not hers. You might think that she should borrow the water gun, but then she said, and I quote, "No, tell your mom to buy you one." What an awfully monstrous crime against humanity. I have never thought I would describe it to someone other than my sister. Then there was a conversation with me and Ruben Arteta, and he said that I should go to the Philippine Military Academy or even the Philippine National Police Academy, because I am the only person that can go to the academy. It was basically a motivation speech, and it was quite effective. I might go to the academy, but only time will tell. Then after we ate lunch, we ate a medium-sized lollipop that cost 10 pesos, which was quite expensive. Then Michaela gave us a challenge. The challenge was the first person to finish their lollipop gets 20 pesos. And wouldn't you know it, I got it. Come on. I finished the lollipop first. Yeah. You know me. And I also ate the bubble gum inside the lollipop. And I finished 2 lollipops. The second lollipop was finished when we were in Soda Water Pool. So she still owes me another 20 pesos. Also, this was the place where I got sunburnt. We then went to Soda Water Pool. The experience there was fine. I was used as a life vest by a certain person. Then we ate some more food, and then we left. And this is the place where it gets colder than Santo Niño Cold Spring, Tuasan Falls. It was actually very cold because it was a waterfall, obviously. I actually enjoyed the waterfall. Why? Well, because there was something burning on my upper neck and I thought that it would cool down, which it didn't. We then went to the old church ruins, which were apparently made with egg whites and water. Well, that was a fact. Not a fun one, just a fact. We then bought some Camiguin Island merchandise near the church ruins, like this shirt that I'm currently wearing right now. It feels comfortable, it's colorful, and it makes a good Easter egg that only my family would notice. We then next went beside the sunken cemetery, buying more Camiguin Island merchandise, and then went back to the hotel that we were staying in. Waking up after 5 hours of sleep, this is what happened on Black Saturday. We first went to the port of Mantigui Island to go to Mantigui Island. Once we got to Mantigui Island, we put our things on our station and then went to the beach. I somewhat got cocky because I wore a rash guard, which is basically the upper swimsuit. The lower swimsuit is called the lower swimsuit. And I just walked through dead leaves that were floating on the beach called sea lice bites. And well, it backfired. I got itchy bumps all over my body and it probably won't go anywhere anytime soon. Then we went to a floating board that is tied to an anchor and is only untied when someone is drowning. Hence why it's a floating board. We went there to have fun and then always had near no float experiences. And we had fun with the board. Then strangers came in just diving there, which raised the fun a bit, not just because there's more people on the board, but because I was so powerful on the board that even if I make just one tiny move, everyone on the board will start to drown. After that, we went to Macau Spring, where there is no entrance fee, and taking a swim there is free of charge. So we ate some edible plates with syrup called sit, and then we took another political photo. In this spring, we got to meet Jacob and Jesse, two kids that had very thick accents. Their father is currently in New Zealand, so that somewhat explains it. Once we saw them, everyone went crazy. There were talks of getting married with one of them, with Bryan Andalan wanting to get married with Jacob and Jesse's one of their uncles, and then after that, we went back to the hotel that we were staying in. But the fun didn't stop there, because we then went kayaking on the somehow not warm beach beside the place that we were staying in. And then the finale. Waking up at 1:57 a.m. after sleeping for only 4 hours, this is what happened on Easter Sunday. As soon as everyone got into their respective cars, we went to the parking lot of the Port of Benoni, and then many of us slept in the parking lot for everyone there to see. I got some adequate 25 minutes of nap time, and then we got to the port itself at around 6 a.m. Then my mother used the 20 peso coin to pay for our tickets. Obviously, barge tickets aren't that cheap here. It was just an addition for the 1,000 peso bills to buy the tickets. We then got to the barge at around 8 a.m. and we were just stuck in our car because the cars were parked with little to no space left for the car's doors to open. Since it got so hot, we just decided to go inside the barge, and the room that we were in had air conditioning on. So all of us got comfortable and slept there for a short period of time. And then we arrived in Balingwan at 9 a.m. Then we went to the Centennial Park in Lugait, where we ate delicious tapioca, and then talked about a Facebook account with so much laughter called Guapa si Ipiang. The translation is Ipiang is beautiful, which I unfortunately couldn't find. So if you have found the actual Guapa si Ipiang, please leave the link down in the comment section. And then we went home. This is the aftermath. My sunburned upper back no longer feels smooth. It feels somewhat wrinkly. Everyone that went on Camiguin Island got darker, including me. And now I have my own laptop. Thanks. To end this video on a valuable lesson, don't go to an island, especially Camiguin Island, during holiday season, especially Holy Week. I hope you guys enjoyed that story of us just suffering all the time, making the entire trip go from 4 days down to 3, down to 2. That's going to be it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we will see you guys again in the next video, where I'll be tortured using electricity, water, fire, hallucinations, unpaid construction work, and then getting sent to an in-network hospital but getting saved by an out-of-network doctor, making me pay $4,000 in hospital bills, but then fortunately the hospital bill was eligible to be covered by PhilHealth, making the challenge have a happy ending. Goodbye. 깜빡이는 그 순간 나 느껴 더 느껴 이어지는 너와 나 느껴 더 느껴 널 깜빡이는 그 순간 나 느껴 더 느껴 널 이어지는 너와 나